Join me as I take on this cool challenge, figuring out how to attract women in 2024. Sounds ambitious, right? But there's no magic tricks or cheats to win someone over. It goes much deeper than that. It's about building a real connection where both people feel comfortable and enjoy each other's company. And here in 2024, with all these crazy new technologies and changes, it seems like dating has gotten even more confusing. So the key is not just to understand yourself, but also to adapt to this new world and the way relationships are built in it. Look, right now it seems super easy. Hop on social media or a dating app, and boom, you've got people just a swipe or click away. But is it really that simple? The tricky part is that with all this ease, we're losing the ability to truly connect with each other. You start talking, but quickly realize that it's just surface level stuff, and there might be nothing real behind it. That's what creates the challenge. Sure, there's access to tons of people, but it's tough to find a genuine connection. So it's not just about knowing how to use all this technology, it's about learning how to create real, meaningful interactions in this changing world. Let's be real. The dating scene today is totally different from what it was even 10 years ago. Online platforms have made it easier to meet people, but they've also made the whole process more complicated. Sometimes it feels like there's too much choice, and that makes people stop valuing real attention from one another. How do you not get lost in the crowd and actually find someone to build something real with? The answer's simple. Adapt, but don't lose yourself. Modern tech can help, but without your personal growth, it's just a numbers game. Because despite all these new trends, we still want the same thing: deep, genuine relationships that give life meaning. Now let's get into the real talk. How do you actually attract a woman's attention? One of the biggest problems a lot of guys face is a lack of confidence. Listen, if you don't feel comfortable in your own skin and aren't confident, how are you going to show a girl that you're worth getting to know? Confidence is the foundation of everything. And no, that doesn't mean you need to become some sort of superhero. It's about being yourself but feeling good about who you are. A lot of guys also confuse friendliness with flirting. You think she's giving you the green light, but really she's just being nice. That often leads to confusion, frustration, and honestly, it never ends well. Building a successful approach is another tricky challenge. A lot of guys ask themselves, should I be the bad boy or the nice guy? Or maybe somewhere in between? It's easy to get caught up in these labels, trying to figure out which one is going to get the best results. But the truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all approach. Every woman is different, and what works for one won't necessarily work for another. So instead of trying to play a role or fit into a box, the best thing you can do is just be yourself, but be the best version of you. When you embrace who you are, you're going to naturally attract the people who vibe with you. And remember, there's no magic formula. The secret lies in authenticity and real connection. Here's another thing that trips guys up: the fear of rejection. It's like this constant shadow that follows you around, making you hesitate, overthink, and sometimes just stop trying altogether. You put yourself out there, and the thought that you might get turned down is enough to make you freeze. But let's flip the script here. What if, instead of focusing on rejection, you focused on growth? What if every time you faced rejection, instead of letting it crush your confidence, you used it as a stepping stone? Each rejection teaches you something, maybe about how to improve your approach, or maybe just about how to deal with failure. Either way, the point is to keep moving forward. You learn, you grow, and eventually the fear starts to fade. A big part of this whole journey is about improving yourself. Let's be real. You can't expect to attract anyone if you're not working on being the best version of yourself. This means putting effort into your physical health, your mental well-being, and your emotional intelligence. Take care of your body, not just to look good, but to feel good. When you feel good physically, it translates into your confidence and how you carry yourself. But it's not just about looking fit. your mental and emotional health matter just as much. Spend time working on your mindset, building resilience, and understanding your emotions. When you're in a good place mentally and emotionally, it makes you more attractive, not just to women, but to everyone around you. And don't forget the importance of having direction in life. Women and people in general are drawn to those who have a sense of purpose. When you know what you want and where you're headed, it shows. It's not about having everything figured out, but it's about having a vision for your life. That's attractive because it shows that you're not just floating through life aimlessly. You're someone who's going places. So focus on your goals, work towards something meaningful, and watch how your sense of purpose draws people in. When you're striving to be the best version of yourself, everything else, including your dating life, starts to fall into place naturally. Another crucial part of attracting women is understanding their perspective. And no, this isn't about trying to manipulate or game someone into liking you. It's about genuinely tuning into what women want and need and building real connections based on mutual respect. A lot of guys make the mistake of thinking they need to put on some sort of act to get a girl's attention. But here's the truth. Women can spot inauthenticity a mile away. Instead of trying to be someone you're not, focus on empathy, support, and care. When you take the time to really listen and understand what's important to her, that's where the magic happens. Building a real connection isn't about tricks. It's about being present and showing you actually care. So let's get into some practical strategies. First and foremost, confidence. But not the fake kind where you're overcompensating or putting on a front. No, I'm talking about confidence that comes from knowing who you are and being comfortable with that. It's about self-awareness and self-acceptance. Don't waste time trying to be somebody you think women want. Be the best version of yourself, the one that feels right to you. When you're grounded in who you are, that kind of confidence shines through, and it's naturally attractive. Next up, social skills. You've got to know how to connect with people on a deeper level. This means being able to carry a conversation, listen well, and engage with someone in a way that makes them feel seen and heard. It's not about memorizing pickup lines or trying to impress with fancy words. It's about being genuinely interested in the person in front of you. Ask thoughtful questions, listen to the answers, and show that you value what they have to say. When you can build this kind of rapport, you're already setting the foundation for something more meaningful than just surface-level interaction. Lastly, focus on building a sense of purpose. People are drawn to those who know where they're going in life. When you have direction and goals, it shows that you're motivated and driven, and that's a huge plus. It's not about having every detail of your future mapped out, but having a general sense of what you want and working towards it. Women are attracted to guys who have ambition, who are striving for something. So if you want to attract someone who's aligned with your values, focus on building your own life in a way that reflects what's important to you. When you do that, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. One more key strategy is to focus on building genuine connections. This is where a lot of guys go wrong. They think it's all about getting a number or locking down a date, but that's missing the point entirely. If you're only thinking about the end result, you're not really in the moment, and trust me, women can feel that. Instead, try focusing on the experience of getting to know someone without an agenda. Be present, be yourself, and let things unfold naturally. When you're more interested in building a real connection than in winning some kind of dating game, you'll find that women are much more responsive. Authenticity is way more attractive than any strategy or line you could ever come up with. Being real means showing vulnerability too. This is a tough one because a lot of guys think they need to be totally invincible or have it all together to attract someone. But here's a little secret. Showing that you're human actually makes you more relatable and approachable. No one expects you to be perfect. When you can be open about who you are, what you're going through, and what you care about, it helps build trust. And trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. It's not about putting your flaws on display, but being comfortable enough to show you're a real person with real feelings and experiences. That kind of vulnerability can draw someone in much more than trying to appear flawless ever could. Now let's be clear, attracting women isn't about playing games or using tricks to get someone's attention. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and allowing genuine connections to grow naturally from that. When you're confident, self-aware, and focused on building real relationships, everything falls into place without you having to try so hard. The idea is not to pretend to be someone you're not, but to lean into who you already are and let that authenticity guide your interactions. When you do this, you'll notice that things just start clicking, not because you followed some step-by-step manual, but because you're being real, and people can sense that. In summary, attracting women in 2024 boils down to three main things: confidence, self-awareness, and building genuine connections. You don't have to be someone else, and you don't need to play by outdated dating rules. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself, the one who knows what he wants, where he's going, and how to connect with others in a real, meaningful way. When you approach it from this angle, women will start to notice you naturally. You won't have to chase. They'll be drawn to the person you become. That's the real key to success in the modern dating world. If you've got any personal tips or stories about attracting women, drop them in the comments below. And if you want more advice on building strong relationships, don't miss our next video on relationship tips.